Welcome back to our daily English podcast for beginners. Today is a special episode because we're going deep into everyday American restaurant English, the kind of language people use naturally without thinking, but that can feel confusing if you're new to it. And the whole lesson today started because of something that happened to me yesterday evening.
I already know this is going to be good. Anytime Helen says something happened in a restaurant, there's a story. And honestly, restaurants in the United States are one of the best places to learn the real language people use every day.
Exactly. So yesterday, I went to a small Italian restaurant near my place. Nothing fancy, cozy, warm lighting, friendly server, nice music in the background. I just wanted a quiet dinner. I ordered pasta and soup, ate slowly, enjoyed the evening. Everything was normal until I finished my meal and looked up. And there it was, the classic American moment.
Let me guess. The server appeared out of nowhere asking one of those typical questions.
Yes, the server showed up with that friendly smile and asked the most American restaurant question of all time. She leaned toward the table a little and said, "Can I clear these plates and get them out of your way?" And the thing is, Americans ask this all the time, and they don't wait long. As soon as they think you're finished, they ask if they can take your plates.
That's true. In a lot of countries, plates stay on the table until everyone is done. But in the US, it's totally normal for the server to take a plate even if other people are still eating. It's their way of keeping the table clean and giving you space.
Yes, and the phrase, "get them out of your way," is very American. It literally means the plates are blocking your space or bothering you, so they want to remove them so you feel more comfortable. Anyway, I smiled and said, "Sure, I'm all done." And when I said, "all done," her eyes brightened. She immediately knew I was finished.
All done is one of those simple phrases that Americans love. It's friendly, relaxed, easy to understand. Not formal, not dramatic, just natural. I'm all done means you finished eating.
Right. After I said that, the server reached for my plate and asked another classic end-of-meal question. "Would you like the rest to go?" In some places they might say, "Do you want a box?" Or, "Should I wrap this up for you?" All of these mean the same thing. Would you like to take the remaining food home?
Americans take leftovers home all the time. It's completely normal, nobody thinks it's strange, and nobody is embarrassed about it. In fact, restaurants expect it. That's why they always have boxes and containers ready.
Exactly. So I looked at my pasta. I had eaten most of it, but there was still a small portion left. I didn't want to waste it, so I said, "Yes, can I get this to go, please?" And the server said, "No problem, I'll be right back with your box." She didn't bring the box to the table. Instead, she took my plate to the back and packed the food herself, which is also common. Some restaurants bring you the box so you can pack the food yourself. Both ways are normal. So while she was gone, I waited, and my mind wandered. I started noticing how many people in the restaurant were getting boxes. It's such a typical American thing. Everyone takes leftovers home.
And they even have a nickname for it, a doggy bag.
Yes, it's funny because most people don't use it for their dog at all. It's just a cute expression for a container to take food home. But you'll still hear it sometimes, especially from older people. A few minutes later, the server returned with my food nicely packed, and then she asked another typical end-of-meal question. "Did you leave room for dessert?" And I just laughed.
That question means, do you still have space in your stomach?
Right. I definitely did not have space, so I said, "No, I'm stuffed." That's another natural American phrase. "I'm stuffed" means you are very full, probably too full. Not just, "I've had enough," but "I cannot eat another bite."
It's casual and friendly, and servers hear it all day long.
After that, I told her, "Just the check for me, thanks." And everything seemed simple, at least at first, but we'll get to that later. Before we continue, let's slow down and break down the language we've already heard. The whole beginning of this story is full of useful phrases.
Let's go through the most important expressions. We'll stay in English so you can practice thinking directly in the language. Number 1. Can I clear these plates? This means, can I take the plates away from the table? Servers say it to check if you're finished. Clear means remove. Number 2. Get them out of your way. This means remove something so it's not blocking you or bothering you. Very friendly, very American. Number 3. I'm all done. A soft, natural way to say, I finished eating. Number 4. Would you like the rest to go? Meaning, would you like to take the leftovers home? You can also hear, do you want a box? Do you want this wrapped up? Can I pack it up for you? Number 5. I'm stuffed. Very full. Not rude, not formal, perfect for everyday conversation. Number 6. Just the check for me, thanks. A polite way to ask for the bill. In the US, people say check, not bill.
And the really important cultural point here is that servers in the US are very attentive. They check on you often, they make sure you're okay, and they clear plates quickly. It's not bad service, it's good service. It's how the system works.
Yes, and they're paid mostly through tips. So they try to keep you comfortable so you'll have a nice experience.
Mini practice. Now repeat a few phrases after me. Can I get this to go? I'm all done. I'm stuffed. Just the check, please.
Nice. Let's do 2 more variations. Do you want a box? Would you like dessert? Great job.
So at this point, everything seemed perfectly normal. I had my leftovers packed, I was full, happy, ready to go home. The server smiled and said she'd bring the check right away. I took a sip of water, relaxed, and waited for the little black folder they usually put the check in. A minute later, she came back, placed it gently on the table, and said something that sounded routine and friendly. Here's your check. I'll take it whenever you're ready. Everything was completely normal. Until it wasn't. Because when I opened that little black folder, I realized I had a small problem. A very American problem that happens more often than people think. And that's exactly where things became complicated and interesting. Let me tell you what happened next. So there I was, sitting at my little table, holding the check in my hands and feeling relaxed. Until I actually looked at the total. And right away, I had this thought, okay, no problem, I'll pay with my card and leave. Simple. But then I checked my wallet and I realized something. The card I normally use, the one I keep for everyday things, wasn't in my wallet. For a second, I panicked. I thought I had lost it. But then I remembered I'd used it earlier in the day and left it in a jacket pocket at home. And now I was sitting in a restaurant without my usual card.
Classic moment. And that's when everything becomes way more interesting than you want it to be.
Exactly. So I looked at the server, smiled, pretended everything was fine, and pulled out a different credit card. I never use that card for restaurants, but I thought, well, it's still a card, it should work, right? So I placed the card inside the check folder and waited. A minute later, the server came back, opened the folder, took the card, smiled politely, and said, I'll be right back with your receipt. Everything still looked normal. She walked away, but after maybe 40 seconds, she returned, this time without the same smile. Instead, she looked a little apologetic. She held the card between her fingers and said, I'm afraid this card isn't going through. And that's the phrase that changed the whole evening.
That phrase, isn't going through, is extremely common in the US. It means the payment didn't work. Maybe there's an issue with the card. Maybe the machine is having trouble. Maybe the restaurant doesn't accept that specific card, but the sentence is always the same.
Yes, and she said it so gently. I'm afraid this card isn't going through. Americans often use I'm afraid to soften bad news. It doesn't mean she's scared. It just means, I'm sorry, but there's a problem. So I asked her, do you accept this type of card? She made a face. You know, that little, half apology face, and said, "We don't take this one. Do you have Visa or MasterCard?" And that's when it hit me. This card was neither.
This is such a real American moment. Some cards just aren't accepted in some restaurants. For example, Discover isn't accepted everywhere. American Express isn't accepted everywhere either because of higher fees for the restaurant.
Exactly. So I checked my wallet again, hoping I had something useful, and luckily, I had one Visa card. I handed it to her with a nervous little smile, and she said, "Let me try this one." She walked away. I waited again. It felt like 10 hours, but it was maybe 15 seconds. Then she came back with a bright smile and said, "You're all set." And that's another very American phrase. "You're all set" means everything is okay. The payment worked, the problem is solved, life is good again. But while I was relieved, something else happened. The server placed the receipt on the table and said, "If you need an ATM, there's one 2 blocks away." I looked at her confused and said, "Oh, but the card went through, right?" She nodded. "Yes, you're all set. But a lot of customers like to leave tips in cash, so I wanted to let you know where the nearest ATM is." And that's when I remembered. In the US, tips are absolutely essential.
Exactly. In American restaurant culture, tips usually make up the majority of a server's income. It's not optional, it's part of the system.
Yes, and I actually didn't have much cash with me. So for a moment, I thought maybe I should go get some cash from the ATM. But then I remembered you can also leave the tip on the card. You can write the amount right on the receipt. So I said, "Thanks for telling me. I'll leave the tip on the card today." She nodded and said warmly, "Perfect. Take your time." That moment really showed me how natural it is for American servers to talk about tips. It's not awkward. It's not uncomfortable. It's just part of how things work.
Let's pause here and talk about tipping, because it's important and confusing for a lot of learners. In the US, servers usually earn very low hourly wages. The real money they earn comes from tips. A standard tip is about 15% to 20% of the total. Leaving no tip is extremely rare and is considered rude. The tip can be added to the card or left in cash.
Yes, and receipts in American restaurants always have 2 lines: tip, total. You write how much tip you want to add, then sign the bottom.
Compared to many countries, it's very different. But once you get used to it, it becomes automatic.
So after filling out the tip and signing the receipt, I felt relieved again. The card situation was resolved, everything was paid, and now I could finally go home with my leftovers. But before I left, something funny happened. As I was putting on my jacket, the server walked by and said, "Don't forget your box." I had completely forgotten it on the windowsill next to my table. I laughed and said, "Oh my gosh, thank you. I would have gone home without it." She smiled and said, "Happens all the time." And that was the perfect ending to the whole situation. Very American, very human, very real.
I love this story because it shows everything. Restaurant phrases, cultural habits, card problems, tipping, and even the little things like forgetting the to-go box.
Exactly. Real life teaches the best English. Now, let's break down the new phrases from the second half of the story. Star 1. This card isn't going through. Meaning, the machine can't process your card. The payment failed. Star 2. I'm afraid. A polite way to introduce bad news. Not fear, softening. Star 3. Do you accept Visa or MasterCard? A very common question in the US. Star 4. You're all set. Everything is okay. Everything is finished. No more problems. Star 5. If you need an ATM, servers sometimes inform you about this when your card doesn't work, you don't have cash, you may want to leave a tip in cash. Star 6. I'll leave the tip on the card. Very common and totally normal. Star 7. Don't forget your box.
A friendly reminder that your leftovers are still on the table.
Now, let's do a small challenge. I'll describe a situation, and you choose the correct phrase in your mind. Situation 1. Your payment failed. What do you say? Correct answer: my card didn't go through. Situation 2. You want to take leftovers home. What do you ask? Correct answer: can I get a box? Situation 3. You're very full. What do you say? Correct answer: I'm stuffed. Situation 4. The server fixed your payment issue and everything is okay. What will they say? Correct answer: you're all set. Great job!
So today, we covered everything that can happen at the end of a restaurant meal in the US. How to ask for a to-go box, how to say you're full, how to ask for the check, what to expect when paying, how to deal with card issues, and how tipping works. These are real, everyday phrases. If you use them, you'll sound natural, confident, and ready to handle almost any restaurant situation in the US.
Learn real English with our daily podcast for beginners. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like and subscribe so others can find it.
Before we finish, we want to remind you of something important. Learning English isn't only about new words. It's about seeing how real people speak, how they react, how they solve problems in everyday life. Even small situations like paying a restaurant bill.
Exactly. And every little experience, even a card that doesn't go through or forgetting your leftovers, can teach you something new. So don't be afraid of real-life moments. Use them. They make your English stronger.
And remember, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to keep going. One phrase today, another tomorrow, and suddenly you realize you understand everything around you.
We're really proud of you for showing up, listening, and practicing with us. You're building a habit, and habits build fluency.
Thank you for spending this time with us. We love being a part of your English journey.
Learn real English with our daily podcast for beginners. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like and subscribe so others can find it.
Take care, keep practicing, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye for now.